games, and there's no doubt about it that facilities exist in this parish greater than any other parish in Ireland. You have one of the finest ball courts in Ireland. You have one of the finest hurling pitches in Ireland. You have your reading rooms. You have your new community centre up here, the old National School. And above all, you have one of the finest housing schemes in the county. And here I would like to pay a tribute to two men who approached me some years ago on the purchase of land on Castlebridge House. And that was the late Michael Collopy, who was then manager of Nuns, and Paddy Ryan. From there we took it to Wexford County Council, and as a result, that fine house and lands were bought for development by the council in Castlebridge. The late Tom Brough was then county manager. Some couple of years later, we were very fortunate in a new county manager who came to our county and who has his impression in every village in Ireland. And we can thank him and the people who work with him and his architects for some of the very fine housing schemes which we have here in Castlebridge. And I know that it was Noel Dillon's conception that Castlebridge House should remain in entirety. That house which was the seat of the Breen and Nunn family for such a long number of years. A family which gave such great dedication to your village, which gave work down the years to the village, and which still continues to give employment through Messrs Guinness and Company. And I'd like to thank Mr Keith Hunt for coming along here today. And I'm delighted to see the manager of Nuns as well being here with us, and many of the lads who work up there. I am privileged to be a supplier of malting barley to Nuns, and Guinness are playing a very major part in their contribution to the welfare of the farming community in this direction. And I would like to thank all the workers down the years in Nuns for their help and kindness in every way that they could do to facilitate the farming community. What greater place can there be for to break a record and to enter as the world marathon champions, nor where the Guinness Book of Record was conceived in 1951. I'd say, well done, lads. The greatest of congratulations. You're a credit to your family and to your village, and you will remain that honour for many years to come. And finally, I want to say also, congratulations to Colin publicly on being elected Mayor of Castlebridge. I better not praise him too much. He might stand the next local election. I could lose my seat. There's one man who I'd like to pay a tribute to, who behind the scenes he always stays. But it was on his initiative that this venture was taught. I'd like to compliment Brian Murphy for his wonderful work for the community over a long number of years, his dedication, and above all his love for youth. To compliment him and the young people of Castlebridge on winning the honour of the County Wexford Tidy competition. It was through his initiative and his great love for youth and the youth's love for him that all those things have taken place. I'd like to thank you for inviting me. Congratulations again to the committee, and the best of congratulations to lads. Maybe sometime in the near future, in a year or two, you might try it again and breach your own record.
Thank you, Councillor Michael Finnis. Car number RZR 855 is apparently parked in the wrong place. Car number RZR 855. Perhaps the owner would move it some little piece. Now, I am calling on Reverend Father Cleary. I'm calling on Reverend Father Cleary to make our presentation on behalf of the people of Castlebridge to Messrs Arthur Guinness and Son. And I'm calling on Mr Keith Hunt, their regional manager, to accept it on their behalf.
Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very briefly, just before making this presentation, I too would like to add my very personal congratulations to these 12 youthful men who went through such a great endurance test from early on Friday forenoon until this morning, when I was very happy and privileged to be there to hear the massive cheer and the massive hurrah that went up when they broke the world record of 44 hours and 22 minutes. So I say to them all, great lads, you're our lads and we're very proud of you. And I can assure you that just as you're spoken of here today in 1986, you will too be remembered and spoken of in 2086. If the world lasts that long enough, we won't, I suppose. But you still will be remembered for cutting a niche in the history of this parish today. So I congratulate you boys. We're very proud of you, every one of us. And now I have been asked to make a presentation. And it gives me, I feel honoured and I'm privileged on behalf of the community of Castlebridge here, all assembled here, on behalf of the handballing organisation and so on, to make this beautiful presentation here to Mr. Keith Hunt as a memento and souvenir of his visit to our community on this very historic day. So I now ask Mr. Keith Hunt to please and kindly accept this memento of his visit to Castlebridge.
We could ask somebody who can come forward and see them. We will have a representative from the Castlebridge Castlebridge Community Games. The Handball Club have a unique occasion this morning. Castlebridge Castlebridge Community Games also made a historic occasion earlier in the month. We sent two swimmers to the National Finals Community Games in Maltney. Lee Murphy from Castlebridge and Kieran Murphy from Ferrybank. Both were competing in the under-8 and under-10 freestyle competition, and they both came home with gold medals. The local community games would like to present these small gifts. It's for Lee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I now call on Riley Fagan to call out the names of the recipients of the Castlebridge Gymnastics Club. And Mr. Hunt again will make the presentation. Riley.
On behalf of the Castlebridge Gymnastics Club, we ask Mr. Hunt to present the medals to the children from the Gymnastics Club of Castlebridge. Got a whole crowd of them now. Now, Lorraine Walsh.
Claire Brennan. Jonah Fancy. Mark Wells. Paul Walsh. And Derek Walsh. Tony Jordan. Shirley Murray. Gillian Thompson. Eva Joy. Niamh O'Leary. Caroline Delaney. Eva Fancy. Marie Kavanagh. Natasha Rutledge. And Christian Rutledge. Natasha, that's your brother. That's your little brother. Miriam Joyce. My own girl. Irene Fagan. Tina Shortle. Tina Walsh. Melanie Wesley. Bobby Delaney. Lorna Murphy. Maria Ryan. Denise Furlong. Eve Allen Walsh. And the two more girls, Mary Ryan and Heather Murphy. Okay, that's
Very shy.
Mary Ryan. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
While I'm waiting for Brian to tell me what to do, there's one more little thing we're going to be doing in the meantime. And I'm asking Joan O'Brien and Elizabeth Crossan to come up here because I have a little presentation for Bonnie and Jim Evans. And who, you might ask, are Bonnie and Jim Evans? They are the more physically endowed people in our community. And I imagine in any other community as well. They give their time and their talent to organising the young people in our community, not alone to entertain themselves, but to hugely entertain us. With Brian Murphy, they are achieving a quiet revolution in our community. We all remember the time when we as young people made our own amusement because there was really nothing else to do. And in this media age, Bonnie and Jim are now doing the same thing. Young people are coming together in big numbers to entertain themselves and thereby entertain us. So, to Jim and Bonnie, a presentation from Elizabeth and Joan.
Thanks very much. It's totally unexpected, and the only thing we can say sincerely is the talent we have to work with, well, the effort that we have to give is very little. It's the children themselves. They're fantastic, really fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bonnie and Jim. Brian.
The vast list of the they have been more or less marathon thing. Give me the first line. They're very good. Playing for the major. Where the major?
there, ladies and gentlemen. This was the point where Brian was to take over and get rid of me. But he shouted so hard all night, and he's so hoarse, that now I'm trying to fill in for him. And as you know, that's quite impossible. The first thing I want to do is to thank the Clonard Brass Band. Who played so beautifully for the Clonard Majorettes. We thank them both for being here this morning. I'm going down through a list now, and I'll do the best I can. Hardly any need to mention the general public. Without the general public, nothing would be worthwhile. The marathon team have been thanked copiously, and I simply want to mention them again. They have certainly done us proud here today. A special word to our young people. I think that has been mentioned many times here today, and we want to repeat it again. Mr. James Orman for supplying the platform on which we stand. You've seen Bridie Fagan here, and I want to thank her and her gymnastics committee. We want to thank her and the Community Games Organisation Committee. We want to especially thank Mrs. O'Brien and family, who have worked so hard to make this a success and who have done the catering, or will be doing the catering. We thank especially the Hall Committee for the use of chairs on this platform. The reading rooms for all the help they provided in the build-up to this day. We thank especially Mrs. Fitzpatrick, the physiotherapist, who looked after our marathon performers over the last 2 days. And without her help, I think, they might scarcely have got through. We want to thank Mr. Surgeon Lee, who also was at the disposal to help our marathon performers over the last 2 days. We thank Chief Superintendent Kenny, who umpired, if that's the word to use, right through the 44 hours to make sure that the record was official. So we thank Chief Superintendent Kenny. We thank Flanagan's and Roaches, the two shops, one at each end of the village, that are always so generous on these occasions. I simply want to mention now our booklet on the history of the Guinness connection here in Castlebridge. And I would like you all, there are copies available, and this is a very special copy. And I'd like you all to buy this copy if at all you can. And in doing so, you'll be supporting the Handball Club. I want to thank John Pierce and Mr. McDermott for here on the platform with us. I just want to thank Dr. Pierce. This wonderful gentleman has honoured us by his presence here today. So thank you very much, Dr. Pierce and Mrs. Pierce. I want to thank you who are sat here quietly, insisted that I would not ask you to speak, but has joined us and helped us in this event. I have no doubt that Brian is going to eat me when I get down, because I'm sure I've left out an awful lot of people. But whoever I have left out, will they take it? For my sake at least, that we are eternally grateful for all the help and support that they have given. Now we are going to officially open the new Guinness Library. Our Minister of State, yes, and our Minister of State is still here, and we're calling on her to open our new Guinness Library.
We're moving up, are we?
was Europe's fastest game bird. So the idea was born that this question must have been one of thousands hotly debated every day, yet there was no reference book. As of June 1986, the Guinness Book of Records has sold a staggering 53 million copies and is the world's best-selling copyright book, having been translated into 26 different languages. I'm extremely proud that this event will finally be given due historic recognition with the backing of the County Council through the opening of the new Guinness Library here this morning. I think it is important to mention that Castlebridge House is now used as a fire training centre, the first of its kind in Ireland. With a grant from my department, wearing my other hat, that is Junior Minister in Environment, and the initiative of the local county council, ably represented here this morning, a planned housing development was substituted by the establishment of training facilities for the fire service in the country as a whole. A fine example of conservation work combined with practical usage of the buildings involved. The new Guinness Library, which includes a display of all the Guinness books, they'll be with us by the end of next week, I'm told, represents the close ties between the village and Guinness, which goes back, as we now know, over 150 years. It will also act as a place for the local community to have meetings, lectures, and for all other gatherings as may be deemed, as well indeed as being a focal point for tourists to the village. I, and indeed I know all my colleagues, both at County Council and Oireachtas level and all, wish every success, and I am sure that the connection between Castlebridge and Guinness will continue to benefit the village in the years to come. I'm delighted to be with you here this morning on this very auspicious occasion.
Hello, John. Yeah, well.
You saw this with Hell beside you. Me? Yeah. With who? With Hell behind. Me? Yeah. You're hiding there. One more.
There we are now. There we are. There we are.
One right. No, just
No, we're all going to dinner. Behind my back now. Pleasant bunch. Start smoking fags now. Start smoking fags now. 48 hour mark. These members are one for day.
Great. Thanks very much. I did actually. Yeah, I know. Congratulations. Just on the marathon itself, you know.
Derek Furlong. Michael Mann. Thomas Rossiter.